Hi, welcome back. This week's video features Gary Vaynerchuk, a social media expert with a long list of successful business endeavors that include a social media brand consulting agency, a popular video blog, a web talk show, and a retail wine store. Vaynerchuk is also an accomplished author and public speaker on the subjects of social media, brand building, and e-commerce. In this TED presentation from 2008, Vaynerchuk argues that the cost of producing content on the web is so low, especially compared to the cost of more traditional types of publishing, that this has created a unique opportunity for people to actually make a living doing something they enjoy. So if you haven't already watched the video, be sure to take a look and then let me know what you think about Vaynerchuk's ideas in this week's class forum. I hope that last week's exercise in creating an external style sheet helped you understand not only how style sheets work, but how websites work overall. Now keep in mind that we could have placed all of our style information within the HTML document itself. This is called embedded styles, and the instructions here would apply only to the page in which the style is located. We could have also placed the style information within each individual tag. This is called inline styles, and the instructions here would apply only to the information within that particular tag. Of course, the style information you worked with last week was in an external style sheet, or what's commonly called a CSS file. So why do we have three different methods for creating styles, and which method is best for designing websites? Well, the answer to that question may depend on your personal preference, since all three methods will certainly work. But here's a few things to consider when choosing one or the other. If you're working on a website that has 300 pages, and you, for example, need to change a font style for that entire website, obviously, an external style sheet could save you from having to open and edit 300 pages one at a time. That's why large websites certainly use some type of external style sheet system to control the overall look and feel of the entire website. On the other hand, if you simply need to make a change to one page only, using embedded or inline styles might be the easiest and quickest way to revise that page. For the remainder of this course, we'll primarily be using external style sheets to control the look of a website. If at some point in time it makes sense to add some additional style information to a particular page, you could certainly use embedded or inline styles to do this. This week I would like you to continue experimenting with the Bayside Beat sample website and try creating some additional CSS rules in your style sheet to change the look of the page. For example, when I look at our sample web page in Design View, I still have several things I'd like to change. I'm not happy that the 800 pixel web page is resting at the far left side of the screen. I'd rather it was centered. So let's go back to the CSS designer and then add some additional instructions for centering the page on the screen. Since it was the wrapper tag where I applied the 800 page width, I'll select that tag again and see if I can add something here to make the page centered. I think the layout section is probably the right place to be. Let's see what my choices are. I can set the height. I can set the width, I can set margins, I can set padding. Unfortunately, I'm just not finding the word center anywhere on this list. But I'll let you in on a little trick that web designers use to center content on a page. If you set the left and right margins to auto, a web browser will then center the content. Let's see if that works. There we go. That looks much better. Another thing I don't like is that the text is too close to the edge of the page. Let's take a look at the properties again and see if we have any options for fixing that problem. Padding sounds like a possibility. Let's try adding 20 pixels of padding to the left and right. There, that's much better. Now it's your turn to apply some different formatting options to your external style sheet and see what happens. In Dreamweaver's CSS Designer, you'll find a variety of different options for changing the width of a page, for setting margins and padding, and for adding colors. Do some experimenting and see which combinations look good to you. Something else I'd like to talk about this week are the images that you typically see on a website. Most sites on the web today use one or more of the following types of image files: JPEGs, GIFs, and PNGs. I've provided a link below to a short video that does a nice job of explaining what each of these names mean and how to decide which type of image you should use in a website. You might have noticed that the images I had you download and save to your computer last week are JPEGs, which work very nice for displaying color photographs on the web. As you'll learn in the video, other types of images, for example, illustrations with transparent backgrounds, might be better candidates for the GIF or PNG format. So how do we instruct a browser to display an image in a web page? If you take a look at our sample, Bayside Beat, you'll see in the HTML code the exact instructions for letting a browser know what we want. This is called an image tag, which includes specific instructions or attributes, as they are more commonly called, about the photo or illustration. The image source attribute tells the browser where to find the image we want displayed on the page. In this example, we're telling the browser to first look in the Images folder of our root directory and then find the image file named Golden Gate JPEG. The image alt attribute gives web designers the opportunity to describe in words what the illustration or photo is all about. The alt attribute can be an important part of a web page for the following reasons. 1. Image alt tags help visually impaired computer users to understand the purpose of an image when using screen reading applications. 2. Image alt tags give search engines the information they need to match your photos to someone's search query. 3. Image alt tags give you some extra information about a photo, which is helpful if you are searching through a large site for a particular image. This week I'd like you to experiment with image tags by inserting some new images in the sample Bayside Beat web page. If you like, you can delete and replace one of the images that are already there, or simply add another photo somewhere on the page. I'll let you decide what images you would like to place in the document. Perhaps you have a JPEG or GIF somewhere on your computer you would like to use. You could also copy an image from the AIB website. Just be sure to place the image in the Images folder of your root directory. Now we can easily add that image to our web page using Dreamweaver's Insert Image feature. First, place your cursor where you would like the image to be located. I think I'll add my new photo in the Cable Car Tips section of the page. Next, go to the top of your Dreamweaver workspace and click the Insert Menu tab. Then choose Image. In the Select Image Source dialog box, find the image you want to place, which should be in the Images folder of your root directory. Here's my new image, Cable Car Tips. Click to select the image, then click OK. Notice that Dreamweaver has placed the image exactly where I want it to be. And if we look at the HTML code, you can see the image tag that Dreamweaver has created for me. Notice that the alt attribute is missing information about the photo, so I'll add that now. So that's the basic process for inserting images into a web page. Do some experimenting on your own and try inserting several images to your sample web page. Next week I'll talk more about how to specify exactly where an image should be on a page and how to dress up its appearance with borders and shadows. In both cases, we'll use CSS to let a browser know how we want that image to appear on the page. So to recap the assignments for this week: 1. Be sure to watch the Gary Vaynerchuk video and then post a reply in this week's class forum. 2. Complete this week's short quiz. 3. Try inserting some additional images in the sample Bayside Beat webpage using Dreamweaver's Insert Image feature. Be sure to add some of your own text in the Alt attribute to let a browser know what your image is about. 4. Submit a copy of that HTML file to me for grading. I realize I won't be able to see the new images you've added simply because those images are located on your computer. But that's fine. I'm interested only in seeing the HTML code. Well, that's it for this week. If you have any questions about the assignments, please contact me and I'll be glad to go over any questions or concerns you might have. Take care, and I'll see you next time.